Martin Celebrity Roast, coming to you from the MGM Grand Hotel in the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. The glittering city of excitement and laughter provides the scintillating backdrop for tonight's star-studded roast. Ladies and gentlemen, from the celebrity room of the Grand Hotel, Dean Martin honors our man of the hour, Michael Landon, with tonight's guests, Don Rickles, Lorne Greene, Phyllis Diller, Amanda Blake, Sid Caesar, Ernie Borgnine, Joey Bishop, Jan Murray, Cliff Robertson, Euell Gibbons, Norm Crosby, and your roastmaster, Dean Martin. And tonight's very special man of the hour, Michael Landon.
It's been said that Michael Landon is the greatest talent in television today. And tonight, we're honoring the man who said it. Michael Landon. Michael was born in the East. He comes from a pioneer strain. His great-great-grandmother came out west in a covered wagon and had 27 children. And believe me, that's quite a strain on any pioneer. I'll never forget the first time I met Michael Landon. It was about 10 minutes ago backstage. Although Michael was a superb athlete, he was never anything with the broads. He was shy. His idea of getting a girl in trouble was bringing her home after 9:30. Michael's taken a lot of kidding about living on the Ponderosa with 3 other men. But I've never been suspicious. I happen to know he's a two-fisted drinker, a carton of milk in each hand. While Michael was one of the Cartwrights, he was so busy mending fences, plowing the fields, and branding cattle. There was no time for romance in his life, except in one episode. He fell in love with a horse that shaved its legs. You know, we all owe a lot to Mike. He's done so much for the West. He put Tucson on the map, El Paso, San Antonio, Santa Fe. But I'm laying 8-5. He can't do anything for Pasadena. Even when his father gave him a new sports car for graduation, it didn't help. I'll tell you that. Michael's the only guy that ever took a girl for a ride in a Triumph and came back a failure. Here's the woman of whom Picasso once said, "Somebody throw a drop cloth over that." But I really love her, and she's beautiful, Miss Phyllis Diller.
Thank you, Dean. You better be...
Oh, I get to sit down.
And you better behave yourself.
Oh, I will, honey.
Or I'll come up to your room later without my makeup. Michael, darling. We've never met, but I think I'm carrying your child. This may come as a shock to you, Peach Fuzz. But our affair started on Bonanza. I was going out with Paul Cartwright at the time. But baby, compared to you, Lorne was Greene. Looks always presented a problem because I get uptight trying to make it with a guy who's prettier than I am. You're just pure gorgeousness. He gets up in the morning and his mirror says, "Thank you." His Levi's can't wait to get their denim on him. I think that's dirty. I realize you're a happily married man, but I want your body to replace mine. I hope you don't mind me playing hard to get like this. But let me tell you the real reason I'm here. Mike, I want to play the wife in your series. Get rid of the other broad.
Ladies and gentlemen, real fine actor and that great guy, Mr. Ernest Borgnine.
Well, I'm here tonight because, well, Michael is a close, personal friend of mine. He's a pal. He's a buddy. And he's a punk. I've been watching Little House on the Prairie, as everybody else has, too. How wholesome shows like his are making bad guys an endangered species. You know, I stood in the unemployment line yesterday with Howard Cosell, Don Rickles, and Martin Borman. And Borman's the only one with a series next year. Let's face it, if you're doing a Western, you need heavies. Guys like me, buddy. Because in the Wild Bunch, I remember I burnt down half the town, killed 237 guys. And as I rode out of town, I stuck my tongue out at a kid. I'm warning you, you'll be out of town by the 11 o'clock news, buddy. Because I'm going to come to the Little House on the Prairie, stampede your cattle, burn down your house, and steal your hair blower.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joey Bishop.
I'll tell you what a thrill it is, sitting next to Cliff Robertson and Euell Gibbons explaining the jokes to them. I want to sit down quickly before he eats my chair. I just want to say that it's a big thrill for me to be here honoring Michael Landon. I only watched your show once. Not this one. The one with the two brothers and the ranch and all that. It was on for 14 years. One time I watched it. In the show they kept calling you Little Joe, Little Joe. I thought they were saying Little Jew, so I turned it off. I wish to apologize to you for the 14 years. I didn't watch the show when you were doing Banana. Bonanza. Okay, Bonanza. What's the difference? I only watched it once in 14 years. I remember also you had two brothers, right? Horse and Adam. Correct? I also have two brothers, Moish and Hesh. Now, if you're going to do a series about real life, you should have done it about me and my two brothers. It wasn't the West, it was the South. South Philadelphia. That was struggling. How we struggled. What do you know about struggling with the Ponderosa? In your series, you each had your own bed. My two brothers and I slept in the same bed. I didn't get to sleep alone till I got married. You also didn't struggle too much in your series, Bonsai.
Banana.
What's the difference? I don't remember. You and your brothers, you had it good. You had your own horses, plenty of food to eat, everything you wanted. My two brothers and I, we were poor. We didn't have a single toy between us. All we had was a piece of wood. We played with that. We were satisfied. We took that piece of wood, carved it into the shape of a gun, and held up a toy store. Now, Michael, congratulations, you're in order. You're on a hit show, The Little Mouse on the Prairie.
House?
I don't know what. I never watched it. I told you, I only watched your other show, Bonami, once. And this one, The Little Louse on the Prairie, I never even saw. You want me to be honest with you? I never even saw you before. What's more, I'm not even so sure I want to look at you now. So if you don't mind, I'll do my stuff here. Because from what I understand, watching you or looking at you could be dangerous to your health. That's why I'm here tonight, to warn America about the hazards of watching your news show. The Surgeon General has just released a report showing what happens to people while you are on the air. During last week's show alone, 18,000 people yawned so much they fractured their jaws. But I say this to you, Michael, in all sincerity. For the health and safety of all of us Americans, get the hell off the TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Norm Crosby.
Thank you, drunkie. Ladies and gentlemen, I say that as a term of affliction, and you know it. When I watch Michael Landon in Bonanza or in Little House on the Prairie, I see more than just an actor. I see heroes, great heroes of our history. I see General Custer when he fell on Little Big Horn and never fought again. I see George Washington, father of our country, surveyor, statesman, cherry tree chopper, soldier, silver dollar flipper. Man who was years ahead of his time. Did you know that in 1776 he fought the War of 1812? Never had insurance, never. They won't give it to him. They knew he liked to stand up in the boat. The characters portrayed by Mike Landon were men of the soil. Pioneer folk who were stagnant and virile and circumvented. And thought only of faith, progress, residuals, and reruns. And how badly we need men like that today. Times of political misconstruction, of deflation and recession, our young people, our youths need a little Joe Cartwright they can raise to a pinnacle. They need it. I do not believe all this talk about recession and depression. I think it's an ugly rumor just started by a lot of people that are out of work. This man, Michael Landon, is fashioned from the same hardy stock of the true pioneers who made our country great. Men like Alexander Hamilton, who went out and built roads and established schools. Men like Aaron Burr, who went out and shot Alexander Hamilton. Men like the gold prospectors who rode by Sutter's Mill and saw something in Sutter's Creek that made their eyes pop. It was Mrs. Sutter. She was skinny dipping. And these were not supermen, nay. That means no. They were all stand-up guys like Ernie Borgnine and Lorne Greene and Mike Landon. If you could stand up, you would have been out of here an hour ago. things I see when I look at this man. When I look at this man, virile and perfunctory. It is only fitting that we honor Michael Landon tonight, a man who portrays the very essence of basic depth and crotchality. It was demonstrated by our forefathers and our foremothers and every one of them guys. God bless you.
Now, we're very happy to have Euell Gibbons with us this evening, the author of several fine books on natural foods. He believes in eating parts of pine trees and wild bushes. For lunch this afternoon, he had a cactus burger. It makes a nice meal. You can eat and pick your teeth at the same time. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Euell Gibbons.
I know it may seem a little incongruous for a man of the wilderness, such as myself, to be here in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand with somebody like Dean Martin. But actually, Dean and I have a great deal in common. Many times we have stalked wildlife together. I'm here to give Michael some fundamental tips on surviving life on the prairie. I know a lot about this subject, having spent about 40 years surviving in the wilderness and living off the land. I've often been asked why I started doing that, why I spent 40 years wandering in the woods. The answer's really simple. One day I left the house to pick up a pizza and I got lost. During my years in the forest, I found that man's biggest enemy is loneliness. But there are many ways to combat it. You have to take pleasure in the life around you, from the lowliest coyote to the mightiest buffalo. I tried to teach this to Michael. And now he's engaged to a squirrel.
The MGM Studios recently signed one of Hollywood's greatest film producers to prepare a motion picture that will star Michael Landon, and with us this evening is the producer, ladies and gentlemen, one of America's great filmmakers of Western classics, Mr. John Whitestone.
Business probably shouldn't be mixed with pleasure, contrary to what a young lady told me at the bar before. But this picture we're doing is a must for you. It's a remake of that great Western movie classic, Wagon Load, which starred Humphrey Bogart, Gary Cooper, and Robert Mitchum. The opening scene was unforgettable, especially the Indian chief, who will be played by you, said,
perché questa gente cose volevi sapere. Chi hanno te ano se na kokoyoko kai na shikawa noni notawa. Notawa. Dandala bagnarole non già stai davanti. Allora stamattina ci steve 3 cavalli e mo non ci stanno. Ma io volevo sapere chi ha già toccato davanti. Ma mannaggia la mia.
There's no towels in the men's room. Why don't you ask him if we can go through the pass? Why don't you ask him when we get to smoke the pipe? All right, I will. Nakasui Kanaksai Sekahiji, one is good. One is saying Hirakawa Katachi Katakaha. Eddie's singing Indian. Eddie's the best singer in all Muscalero territory. Ain't that wild? I think that's just dandy. Well, by God dang it, I wonder what he can sing. Now I'll ask him. Taxi Warner. Taxi Warner. You Warner? Why, you're damn right I Warner. All right, Chief, let's hear you sing. Carno, terno, That's the kind of a picture it is. Class all the way. And this should clinch it. We're doing it in Italy. A spaghetti western. And all the tribes will be there. Vermicelli, Percitelli, Linguine, Fusilli, all of them. We're calling it the Godfeather.
My best friend, and a wonderful comedian, and a good guy, Mr. Jen Murray.
Always a thrill to give up an evening to honor a man I don't know and never even met. I was afraid my whole evening would be shot being at home with my loved ones. But this might easily be the biggest moment of my life, because standing up here on this dais with Dean Martin, the wino, on one side of me, and Michael Landon, the milk drinker, on the other side of me, while he's fermenting, he's curdling. The show, they're going to run into each other and make eggnog. Incidentally, I was only kidding when I said I didn't know Michael Landon. I do. We happen to be very good friends, and I was really appalled this evening. Honestly, sitting here listening to person after person coming up here making fun of Michael and his television shows. That I don't think was fair. You know, making fun of his shows because they're clean and wholesome. So what if he's also dull and boring? This
is a man of whom Pat Boone once said, "Keep this square away from me." This man who is so innocent. The other day, a musician gave him some grass, and he tried to build a tennis court on it. To Michael's credit, though, he's transmitted this clean, wholesome purity to television. His new show, Little House on the Prairie, has become the sleeper of the year. At least that's how it affects me. You know, on his show, their idea of a big evening is for the whole family to sit around the barn all night trying to save a saddle from dry rot. We are all gathered here tonight honoring a man who is probably the only person left in the world who can get into a personality clash with Lawrence Welk and have it come out a draw.
Ladies and gentlemen, an excellent actor, Academy Award winner, Mr. Cliff Robertson. Yes, sir!
Thank you, Dean. Not many people know this, but Dean was NBC's first choice to lead the Ingalls family to their little house on the prairie. He wouldn't go on the wagon, so... I know you try to be authentic, Mike, but a kid from New Jersey can't really know about pioneer life. I mean, in Newark, when they sing "Get Along, Little Doggy," they're really trying to shoot a poodle off the lawn, right? I'm no expert, but I happen to be from a family of cattle ranchers, and maybe that's why I spot certain things on your show that give you away as a city boy. Like the time you tried to brand your cows with a magic marker. And that unforgettable time your daughters asked you, "Daddy, what'll you do if we're attacked by Indians?" And you told them, "Don't worry, I'll make them marry you." Landon produces, directs, writes, stars in his new TV series. He's also the only male star with all those women. Around the studios, he's affectionately referred to as a little hog on the prairie. There's a rumor around town about how Michael, the actor, got the part from Michael, the producer. Is it really true you had to sleep with yourself, Mike?
It's time to introduce Lorne Greene, who practically raised Michael Landon on television. Everybody wonders why Lorne's hair turned white so early. You see, when Lorne was a baby, his mother used to put the talcum powder on the wrong end. Here's the pappy of the Ponderosa, Mr. Lorne Greene.
Ladies and gentlemen, and Don Rickles, members of the dais, honored guests, son. Very sentimental. I like to say, sit up straight. Keep your hands off the table and put the cigarettes away. Put on your shoes. Mike's a little excited tonight. There's no school tomorrow. We all know that we played father and son on the show. And in many ways, that relationship was very real. And it still exists. To this day, he treats me like a father. Never thinks of me, Never comes to see me. Didn't call me on Father's Day. I remember when I first met Mike, I was sitting and talking to Pernell Roberts, who played my oldest son, who calls every week. And they brought in this shy, awkward kid who didn't know what he wanted to do. And look at him. Actor, writer, producer, director. Still doesn't know what he wants to do. But even at that first audition, Michael had what it took to get a leading role on a successful television show. Photographs of the producer coming out of a motel in Tijuana. And I just knew he would make it big because I think it was the first day in Bonanza, he came in and he looked at the Ponderosa and he said, someday, all this will be mine. And then he loosened the brakes on my car. I must say, though, it's wonderful that we all ended up on Bonanza. I mean, there we were, a 47-year-old father and 3 40-year-old sons. The boys are all fine young men. I mean, I did my best for them. I did everything I could. They didn't fight. They didn't drink. They didn't smoke. They didn't go out with girls. Where did I go wrong? The truth of the matter is that Mike has a lovely home, has a beautiful wife, a beautiful family. He's a loving husband and father. And I feel toward him as I do toward my own son. That's the truth. I cut him out of my will, too.
Young Michael Landon is growing in stature as an actor all the time. Of course, Michael couldn't do all this himself. He had help from the world's greatest drama coach. The man is here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Sid Caesar as Mr. Boris Ivanovich. Was there one special thing you had to teach Michael about acting?
No, I wouldn't say no. One special thing? No. Everything. It's how to stand, how to sit, how to fetch a stick. No, that's Lassie.
Lassie. What really did you teach Michael?
Well, he came to me and he said, I'm going to be in a little house on a prairie in Minnesota. Minnesota. Yeah. So he said, could you teach me how to act in cold weather? I said, you came to the right place, because in Siberia, where I live, when it's 40 degrees below zero, you pack up the family and you go to the beach and you take a dip. But when it gets to 100, 110 below zero, then you gotta put on a t-shirt. If you don't put on a t-shirt, you're gonna get cold there. 110 below zero, that's cold. When you say the words, they stay there.
What else did you teach Michael?
Well, I taught him how to kiss. And kept on telling him, the horse you ride, the girl you kiss. The horse you ride, the girl you kiss.
tonight is Amanda Blake, a red-headed beauty who captured your hearts for many years in the role of Miss Kitty, the owner of the Long Branch Saloon on Gunsmoke. She's spent more time leaning on a bar than I have, I'll tell you that. Ladies and gentlemen, the lovely Miss Amanda Blake.
Thank you, Dean. You know, you would have been great in those Gunsmoke pioneer days, especially in California with the miners. Because from what I hear, you've had plenty of experience working around gold diggers. Incidentally, I'd like to take this opportunity to set the record straight about Miss Kitty's love life on Gunsmoke. Let me say categorically that there was never anything between her and Marshall Dillon. How could there be when a 6'6", 240-pound Marshall looks at you in the eye and says, "I've got a violent headache"? However, her friendship with Chester was another matter. Why do you think he was running all those years? Michael, I'm so pleased to be here tonight because, you know, we have something in common. We've both been lucky enough to be stars on a successful Western TV series. Mine took place in a town that was so rough and tough and brutal that John Wayne was working there as a waitress. On the other hand, Bonanza was a more gentle type show about a father and his sons and their vast empire of millions of acres of cattle and wheat and oil. You were called the Cartwrights, but to those of us who knew you better, we called you the Rockefellers. Now you have another hit show, and, well, very frankly, I'm envious. After all, with my experience running an establishment that provided cowboys with whiskey and women, I should have been the star of The Little House on the Prairie.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Victor Sen Young, better known to all you Bonanza fans as Hup Sing.
Hello, little Joe. Hey, you look good. I see you still wear the same suit you wear for your bar mitzvah. When you and Mr. Ben coming back to the Ponderosa, Hop Sing cooked very fine dinner 5 years ago. Nor can keep dinner warm much longer. Little Joe, try to teach Hop Sing how to speak good English. Like this. Very good. Chop, chop. And all that a Yankee rigmarole. All Hop Sing meet Little Joe. Hop Sing spoke perfectly good English without the slightest trace of an accent.
America's sweetheart, Mr. Don Rickles.
exciting night. Hey, thank you so much. This is... Who are we honoring? I just want you to know what a kick it is. Who's the guy? What's his name? Attaboy. Michael Schleiman. Michael Landon. Hey, Bonanza, from the bottom of my heart. I never liked that show. It was the dumbest damn show I ever saw in my life. With the calves and the horses and everybody in heat. Forget that. Amanda Blake, bless your heart. Jim Ernest is one of my favorite actors. I was with him once, and he said to me in a drugstore, "Get out of the way, you're blocking the magazine counter." And Ernest Borgnine on the Poseidon. Ernie, you're a fantastic actor, as Marty in that wonderful picture when you said, I need a broad. The best thing he did, what was that picture he did?
Marty.
No, the other picture, you dumb. The one with Frank, Frank, our idol.
Oh, Frank Marty.
Frank Marty, right. From here to eternity. When he said to Frank Sinatra, one of the great Italians, he said, "Now you're gonna get yours. You're going in the stockade." And Frank was an actor. And beautiful Frank said, "Is this just for the movie?" Michael, to you. Michael, really, with your hair, I worry about you. Pop Cartwright worried about you. The whole ranch worried about you. Especially when you mixed between the herd and kept saying, "Move him out." Well, maybe you have a problem. I don't know, Michael. But when they said cut and the scene was over, you were in your dressing room a lot, alone. Humming and singing all the rodeo songs that we all love. I want to be with you so much. And you know, I kid about this man. Rise, Michael. Rise. If I may. I read the... What is the word? Commendation? What is the word? Commendation? What is the word?
Here to eternity.
Here to eternity. To the greatest cowboy star of our time, the award for riding the bronc. And later on, we're going to put a bell on your nose and let you run through the room. You are a great actor, a great star. I remember you when you first started in your picture, when you played that part of the monster with the claw. And we will do that scene now. This is your first picture. What was the name of that picture, Michael? Truth.
I was a teenage
Here to
werewolf.
eternity.
Butt out. Say sit. I will play the part of the guy you played. You played the part of the monster, right? You're the sheriff. You say to me, "Sheriff, the monster is ready to come into the park." Okay? Do a good job, I'm counting. Okay, I come in. Now come on, now we gotta do that. Sheriff! No, not yet, not yet. It looks too formal. Take off your coat. You gotta do this good. Lorne, come here. Come here, Lorne. Lorne, you're the director. Stand on the chair. Stand on the chair. Okay, Lorne, you're the director. Cut. All right, you stop. 124 Denver Apple.
124 Denver Apple. It's
Okay.
a fake.
Okay, I come in.
Cut.
Don't be a smart guy. Print! Print! Roll them!
I think I'm gonna throw up.
All right, come in.
Here you come to house, and we meet woman. When?
You're one of the weirdest honkers I've ever seen in my life. Give him a nice hand. He's a beautiful man.
All night we've been firing away at our guest of honor, right point blank. But he gets the last shot. Ladies and gentlemen, our man of the hour, Mr. Michael Landon. Let's hear it.
Thank you very much. This has been a very unusual evening for me, to say the least. I'm a little nervous being up here. I'm not a comedian. I'm not used to getting laughs. And I can see that none of you are either. It's always nice to see Joey Bishop here. I asked to have Joey on the show. I wanted someone who's just as funny as Euell Gibbons. Why weren't you? And Amanda Blake. Amanda, it's very nice seeing you here, even though I did ask for Barbara Stanwyck. You know, I wish, Amanda, that you and Dean could be on my new series. You could run the saloon, and Dean, of course, you would be the town drunk. Dean's got so many grapes in him, he's being picketed by Cesar Chavez. There's another Bonanza alumnus here, of course, a Chinese cook, Victor Sen Young. I want Victor to know you might have gotten a little more laughs, but you didn't listen to me. I told you, don't use the jokes in column A. It's the one thing I liked about having the whole Cartwright family together. With 4 Cartwrights, you get A-roll and wonton and plum. No, and Jan Murray, your credit to the name Murray. Funnier than Catherine, but not as funny as Arthur. And Ernie Borgnine. Ernie, I saw you in the Poseidon Adventure, and I want you to know when that ship went down, I think your monologue should have gone down with it. Ernie and I just finished working together. He's a very dear friend of mine. I'm very happy you came, Ernie, because we had 3 empty seats. It's nice to see my good friend Cliff Robertson. Cliff is a man of many, many talents, and none of which were evident tonight. I'm very happy to see Lorne Greene. Lorne and I have been very, very close for a number of years. Probably too close. Yes. I was there when Lorne won the West. And tonight, Lorne, I was here to see you lose the audience. Lorne was wonderful. It was a lot of good years. Lorne played my father on Bonanza for 14 years. And I'll never forget those days. Never forget the times that I used to wander into the room at night and say, Lorne, please, can I have the keys to the horse? You know, you people out there think you know Don Rickles. I know Don Rickles. To a lot of you people out there, Don is, well, he's first disgusting, and he's obscene, and then he's lewd. But to those of us who know him and love him, he's exactly the opposite. First he's lewd, then he's obscene, then he's disgusting. Seriously, this has been a fun evening. You're all of you up here on the dais, very big talents. But the fact that you're all big in television doesn't really mean that much to me. Let's face it, television is an invention where you're entertained in your living room by people you wouldn't have in your house.